Let's play some hockey.
You are watching Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen. Rosie's with us today. And of course, it's brought to you by the good people at the Hockey News and of course, Sports Illustrated.
Paramount Sports Management, and of course, it's Saturday, so Game On Magazine. And just before we start, Gooch, I want to just shout out to everybody in Buffalo who's standing on the edge of the bridge, just ready to jump off. Don't jump yet. Buffalo hasn't blown it yet. Pretty close, maybe. But don't jump yet.
They won't. What a great day in sport. A great day in sport. The blue and white game on television tonight. Yes. Captivating television. Yes. And it's not the Jets.
Are they going to have like numbers on their, like, is it going to be blue and white, like blue and white, or is it going to be like the Leafs wearing their blue maple leaf and their white?
No, skins and shirts. Hey, listen, we got our buddy Scott Taylor talking with Taylor. He's coming up in a second. You know what?
What?
Let's bring him up right now.
Let's bring him up.
Scott Taylor. Scotty, what's going on? You guys are watching that boring game called football.
Shirts and skins are tops and bottoms.
They're not either
tops
one.
And bottoms. You won't see many guys blocking shots if they're playing tops and bottoms.
Okay, listen, it's not much. Listen, a couple of serious things, and we'll get into the show. Number one, obviously, Ottawa has banned pucks and sticks on their rinks. So I'm wondering if that was Melnick doing that for the Senators.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's
the Senators use pucks and sticks also, or what?
Well, they said Ottawa government has said no, because I'm going to ask you these questions. I had a little battle with Val saying, hockey players are so nice. I want to ask you this question right off the bat to get it started, because I want to let's get a little bit of roughness in this thing. Do you agree with that? Do you agree that the Ottawa has banned pucks and sticks for the people playing outside or skating outside, and yet we have athletes that are making millions of dollars flying around the country?
I have a problem with it. I have a problem with all of that stuff. I mean, you either do or you don't. I have a problem with a rule of no pucks and sticks. I have a problem with a rule that kids can't play hockey, but they can go to school, but they can't play minor hockey. And I have a problem with professional athletes flying all over Canada, leaving the COVID everywhere. We've had 3 teams already shut down: Columbus, Dallas, and Pittsburgh. Now you can say, well, it was in the United States, and that's a problem. Yeah, they had 277,000 cases yesterday and 4,700 deaths. Yes, it's a different world down there. But the reality is Manitoba has proven that if you open up the borders and you let people fly in and out or drive in and out or come and visit, your numbers go up. If you shut the borders down and leave them shut down, you can bring the numbers down. But the reality is nobody wants to do that. People want the National Hockey League. So they're going to give them the National Hockey League. I guess as a response, they're going to tell kids you can't have sticks and pucks on outdoor rinks. It's as ridiculous as anything could possibly be. Because you're going to put kids on outdoor rink skating. Do they have to wear masks? It's outdoors. I don't even know what the rules are anymore. They don't have proper rules anywhere. But at least from coast to coast, you have to wear masks indoors, and that's a step.
Scott, they've just come out with a report that these droplets will hang in the air longer with the cold now. So I think we should be. But my point was, and thank you for bringing it up, I haven't heard from Paul yet, but I just want to say this. Val, you're wrong, and I love it. Thanks, Scott, for proving it. Listen, all of us here love sports. Val's using this as an excuse. It's a distraction. I agree it's a distraction. But the fact of the matter is there are kids not able to go to school, and their parents have to stay at home not to earn money because they can't get babysitters and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's unfair. And I love the National Hockey League. I need the distraction. I want NHL hockey. I'll be glued to the TV tonight watching blue and white, whether it was the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Montreal Canadiens, Pittsburgh Penguins. As long as it's a blue and white game, I'd be watching it. And I know, Scott, you'd be betting on it.
Well, yeah, I'd watch it. I'm watching the games all day. I watch an Ohio State basketball game. I'm watching the Bills play. Yeah, I watch the games. If that's what they decided they want to do, go ahead and do it. But at some point in time where I live, you'd better make the rules the same for everybody. And I still have a problem with the fact that the Winnipeg Jets can play and the media, including me, can go to the games, and yet the kids that are in school here, we're off school grades 7 to 12, but the kids below grade 7 are in school. Those kids can't play minor hockey. Those 8, 9, 10-year-old kids can't play hockey. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
Paul, let me ask you a question as we get into this a little bit deeper. Then let's get into the sports part. People are allowed to fly in and out of Canada right now. People are flying down to the sun. People are flying to Europe. We have people flying back in. I am told from certain people, there were people that had their kids. They flew across, not even to Europe, but to Pakistan, to India, all these, and they're flying back. What the heck are we doing? And yet our kids can't have a puck and a stick on an outdoor rink.
I think it's ridiculous. I think, to be honest with you, if I closed my eyes, I thought for a second that was a Rosie's rant, but it was Taylor's tyrant. I loved it. I thought I 1,000,000% agree with everything that Scott said. This is ridiculous, and it's going to come back and bite us in the ass in March or April when we should have been done with it.
And I just want to add that I was fighting with a guy just before the show. He wasn't in the green room, and he kept saying, leave the politics out of it. This ain't politics.
No.
This is reality.
It's common sense.
Yeah.
All right.
This is where we live. There's nothing political about this at all. This is about health, and it's about able to have nice things. I would like a whole year of 82-game National Hockey League hockey. I would like a whole year of the Manitoba Junior League, the Manitoba Major Junior League. I'd like to see the Western Hockey League play. I want to see the Memorial Cup. I want all of that. But right now, we're not ready to do that. We have to shut this virus down, and until we do that, we are not going to have nice things.
Speaking of that, I was on a Zoom call yesterday talking to kids in Australia about ice hockey with Malcolm Sutherland, and right after me came on Mike Surratt from the University of Bisons. We had a great chance. He says hello, so it was fantastic. All right, listen, Tommy Lasorda has passed. He bleeds blue. Talk to us really quickly, Scott. I know, Rosie, both of you, I'd like to hear a comment on arguably one of the greatest managers of all time, especially for the Dodgers.
Oh, I'm going first? I'll go first.
Yeah.
I think Tommy Lasorda was one of the funniest people I ever met in my life. And the funniest moment I ever had with Tommy Lasorda is that he was doing the press conference after the Americans won the gold medal in Sydney at the Olympics. And he is almost in tears talking about how young this team was. They were babies. This is the youngest team I've ever seen. And sitting beside him were Pat Borders, who had already long retired from the Toronto Blue Jays, and Ernie Young, who I think was in his late 30s. And they're looking at each other and giggling as Tommy Lasorda goes on and on and on about how young this American team was that won the gold medal. Yeah, they were young to a certain extent, but they had a lot of veteran ball players on it. Tommy Lasorda had another great line once. It was somebody said to him, "How are you, Tommy?" And he said, "What difference does it make? If you say you're feeling great, nobody cares. If you say you're feeling lousy, everybody's happy that you got trouble." And that was always the classic Tommy Lasorda to me. He just laughed and walked away. But Lasorda was one of the funniest guys in baseball for the longest time, and a great manager and a champion and a close friend of Vin Scully's. And he lived a great life, passing at 93.
I'm actually really glad that he got a chance to see the Dodgers win last year. The ultimate manager, the ultimate guy who had passion beyond passion. You know, you remember him coaching third base in the All-Star game when the ball almost killed him. The bat came flying at him. Times he'd do somersaults. The passion when they won, when Kirk Gibson hit the home run and could barely go around the bases. He was the ultimate. He showed everything on his face, good or bad, and I loved him.
Yes, sad for the world. We send our condolences to his family and all the Dodger fans. And of course, baseball has lost a true legend. Hey, listen, let's get into hockey. Of course, your brother's popping up. We were obviously going to be talking about this. Corey Crawford retires. It was not a surprise when you take into account everything he has been through. 2 Stanley Cups with your beloved Chicago Blackhawks. He's going to New Jersey Devils. It now seems that Mackenzie Blackwood will be there. Well, it is that he's going to be the starter. It looked like Corey was going to be the backup. 10-season National Hockey League. I'll let you go first, Rosie, because you are the ultimate Chicago Blackhawks fan. Your thoughts?
You know what? I loved Crawford. My brother and me had these arguments. Oh my God! Sorry about that. I'm just watching this 4th down, and Indianapolis got a first down and looked like they fumbled. This is craziness. But, Corey Crawford, me and my brother used to always argue about this because my brother thought he was just an incredible goaltender. I thought he was, but there was a lot of times that I thought, he had a lot of luck on his side too. He won 2 Stanley Cups. He did a lot for the Blackhawks organization. He had 2 major concussions, which I think ultimately led to him retiring from the Devils. I thought he could have really helped the Devils. It's a sad day for Devils hockey if you love the Devils, because I think he really could have mentored their young goaltending in the future. But obviously there was something that happened and he decided to pack it in. I just hope health-wise he's okay, and the concussion issues he's dealt with over the years will be something that he can get over and have a half-decent life outside of hockey. Scotty, did Buffalo is it over?
No, it's not over. There's still 28 seconds left. They're getting close to field goal range. It's going to be close. It might be an OT game. Corey Crawford was a tremendous goaltender who was better than people thought he was. I don't think he's ready to be a backup. This has been an interesting week for retirements. First, Colin Wilson retired way before he should have retired, but because of injuries, he just couldn't play anymore. Colin Wilson was a tremendous young guy, a guy that I knew reasonably well from Winnipeg. Of course, his dad, Kerry Wilson, was a great player in the NHL during his career. And then Corey Crawford retires today because of injuries and the change in Chicago and all the things that go on in hockey. And he was going to be a backup, and I guess he wasn't ready to do that. And I understand that. I don't have any problem with that for him. So it's been quite a week of retirements in the National Hockey League between Wilson and Crawford, and the NHL loses 2 really good guys who are really great to talk to and really great to do interviews with. Yeah,
no question. We heard that he also had some back problems. Val was asking that, and I know that he did have it. Listen, let's get into the issue in the National Hockey League. We're all excited that they're going to start, right? You and I, and of course, Paul. The issue that we have right at this particular moment, of course, is the fact that 3 teams, you mentioned it earlier, Dallas Stars, 6 players, and 2 staff members have tested positive for COVID. Columbus Blue Jackets have closed down their training facility because of issues with it. And now we've learned that the Pittsburgh Penguins canceled practice last night for that same reason. Your thoughts on what's going on over there?
Well, my thoughts are no different than they have been since day one. This is going to be a shutdown all year long. It's going to start and stop and start and stop. Games are going to be canceled. Hockey is not like football. Football, you play every Sunday, so you can take maybe Tuesday and Wednesday off to make sure there's no COVID in your training facility. In hockey, you play Tuesday, then you play Thursday, then you play Saturday, and you're going to be in a situation now like, I guess a little bit like the Big Ten basketball schedule right now, which has Penn State missing 3 games in a row because of COVID in Pennsylvania. And that's why Pittsburgh shut down, because COVID is just ravaging Pennsylvania right now as we talk. It's going to go on and on. I don't know how the California teams are going to play. California is completely and totally out of control. And how is it not going to get into the California facilities? I don't know how it doesn't.
So, Scott, I was having a little bit of an argument with a friend of mine about this whole situation again. And the NHL, they said, okay, but they're flying from, let's say, Toronto to Calgary, and they're going right to the hotel, and they're going to stay in their hotel, play the game, play another game, jump on the bus, fly back after they get on the plane. But there's a bus driver.
Sure.
They're going to have contact with the outside world. So I'm a little concerned. Nobody wants it more than I do. I want to be watching my Winnipeg Jets lead the Canadian division this year throughout the season, and then go on and win in the Stanley Cup.
Oh, by the way, Patrick Laine is still with the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
In case you were asking.
He looks really happy in his interviews too.
Yeah, well, that's fascinating.
I think he's sick to death of people asking him the same stupid question in every interview. I mean, wouldn't you be, Paul, if it was the same dumb question every time? Are you going to be traded? Do you want to leave? After a while, it's just like, would you shut up?
Shut up. Yeah,
shut up.
I agree.
I think in a world that we live in right now with the National Hockey League and the National Hockey League PR departments and coaching staffs trying to control the message, I don't think we're going to talk to Patrick Laine again for a long time.
Well, I
think
can
they're
tell you
just
this.
going to keep him out of the loop.
And
I can tell you this, Paul and I both know that. Right when the COVID hit, we were not allowed, even though with the Hockey News and the Sports Illustrated story with us, we were not allowed to talk to any NHL players. And I understand that because nobody knew what was going on. But right now, they need a PR. They should be out there. And I agree with you 100%, Scott. They do have to shut it down. When journalists aren't as talented as you are, and they keep going with the dumb questions. But added to that, Rosie, you can add to this. A lot of the athletes just give the same rhetorical answer. Dump it in, 100%, 110%.
there's a lot
That's
of
why if you haven't seen the Letterkenny comedy bits on YouTube, everybody should watch them because they're absolutely perfect.
They're
perfect.
Hey, we're going to find out what's going on with this play, whether it was a fumble and the game's over or it's not, and Indianapolis gets a chance. All you Buffalo Bills fans, stay on the bridge. Don't jump yet.
All right, now that it's into the football world, let's talk about this. Why is Alaska not a Canadian province?
Because it belongs to the United States. William Seward bought it.
When?
Why? 1837?
1867.
Done.
It's a
30 years
question
later.
I came up with. You know what? It's a good question, and it was just because my father-in-law and I back checked the airport. The question came up. The wall is being built to keep Canada and the U.S. apart, and he's an old crusty guy, and I love him dearly. It came to the wall. He said, "What's going to happen to the wall?" And then I had to come up and say, "Why not stick here? What are they doing with the wall between Alaska and Yukon?"
First
Is
of
that
all,
not a legitimate question?
There's no wall.
I'll take the fifth on any political question.
All right, let's get back to seriousness here. Do you honestly, like, we're only a couple of days away, guys, from the National Hockey League. Where do you think hey guys, look at me, I got eyes.
There's only 11 seconds left, Gouche.
All right, the game will be on later. Sorry to interrupt you guys on Gouche Live. It should have been Gouche recorded. Gouche recorded with Paul Rosen. All right, listen. How many seconds left?
There's 14 seconds left. There's 14 seconds left.
Okay.
And Phillip Rivers is trying to get them down to tie to field goal. It's a big
let's take a timeout. Let's take a timeout.
All right, we'll take one. They're not taking one, but we'll take one. Where'd Scott go?
Val, let's you and I continue on our conversations. We'll just wait till the game's over. Val, you heard what the guys were talking. Love to hear your point. Seriously, we're having some fun. Yeah. Any change in your thoughts, or are you still sticking with it?
In regards to which topics?
The NHL flying around. Scotty said it. Rosie said it's okay to be on the other side of the ocean, kid. That's okay, but not with me.
No, I too was having a discussion prior to the show with a friend, and we were going at it. And you know what? I'm like on the boat. You know what? I think it's a different scenario. Any sport becomes a distraction. It's welcome to. Like, we're all going to be stuck to it regardless of our feelings. I think pro athletes can at times be a little more structured than non-athletes. And I say that very loosely because there's a lot of sport, no pun intended, with the chicken wings going on in the States. But there's a...
Speaking of chicken wings, I hope that game in Buffalo's over.
I don't know. We'll have to get the live action update when the boys come back.
Is it over? It's over. All right. Listen,
it's over.
Before I let you go, you mentioned the boat. You should get back on it with that attitude. No question. I believe that it's wrong. You believe it's right. Let's see what.
I think it's okay. Not that it's right. Not that it's wrong. I think I'm usually black and white in terms of yes or no. Right now, I'm in a shade of gray. I think it's in between.
And you know what? We are not political on this show. So let's bring the boys up. I'm going to let you go, Val. I need you to find out what's going on with Trump.
There's only 4 seconds left in the game, last play of the game. But I think it's over. I think they got to go for a Hail Mary now. They can't get a field goal. So let's get back to real questions, Gouche.
Real questions. Here's the real question.
Yeah.
Trump has announced that he's not going to go to the inauguration. Right? You know why?
Yeah.
He's moving.
Okay, the game's over. The Buffalo Bills are going to the next round.
Who cares? Trump's moving.
It's a good joke. It's cute. I like it.
That was Val.
Nice joke.
I said we had to bring that up. All right. Chances are this month, and I'm agreeing with you, Scott, that I don't think the NHL is going to be able to carry on with all of the interruptions that are going to happen with COVID. I think it's way out of control. We're at 3,500 again today. We were 4,000 yesterday. I think we're going to hover around. And I hear on Monday or Tuesday, Ford's going to let us in on what the projections are. And there are some talking by the end of this month, it could be at 5,000, 6,000. And that's people moving around. And I'm really concerned about the fact that, as you said, there are a lot of back-to-backs happening with the NHL. All of a sudden, you've got, a whole week. One team gets COVID tested, a bunch of positive tests. They're gone for 2 weeks. How are they going to build these schedules?
I don't, real quick from me, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I think, like Scott said with the football, even tomorrow night, Cleveland plays Pittsburgh. They couldn't practice all week. They have no coach. It's 5-6 days between, 7 days between games. Toronto's opening up. I see right away they play Montreal. Then they play back-to-back against Ottawa. This cannot happen. If a team gets 3 or 4 guys, they're going to lose 3 games. They're going to lose 5 games. It's a situation that I cannot see 56 games happening, guys.
Hey, do we have any Brown fans on the show? Any Brown fans?
No.
I'm a little bit nervous about Ottawa. Toronto going. Didn't you see his hat? I'm worried about Toronto going to Ottawa to play when they don't have sticks and pucks. Scott, talk about it.
Well, that reminds me of one of the great interviews I ever did with Jacques Lemaire, who was coaching Minnesota at the time. And we're in a press conference before Minnesota's playing Calgary. And at the time, of course, Jarome Iginla was Calgary's superstar. And he was red hot. He was scoring left and right. So somebody says in the press conference to Jacques Lemaire, who might be the funniest guy in hockey, how are you going to shut down Jarome Iginla? And Lemaire looks at him with a straight face and says, going to steal his sticks. Going to go into the club, the locker room before the game, and we're going to get all his sticks, and he can't play. Going to steal all his sticks. And people, the American guys who didn't know a lot about the game were kind of dumbfounded. Meanwhile, the Canadian guys are falling out of their chairs in the press conference because Jacques is going to steal his sticks. So there's your stick and puck problem. Somebody will sneak a stick in so that Ottawa will have some sticks.
And one puck.
By the way,
breaking news.
Beloved Winnipeg Jets go the 14th, 18th, 19th, 21st, 23rd, 24th, 26th, 30th.
Jesus.
If there's one touch of COVID in there, there's 5 games wiped out.
Yeah. Hey, breaking news.
And that's what's going to make it tough.
Bills win 27-24.
And look, Rosie looks like he's just survived.
Thanks, Gouche.
The worst day of his life.
All right, as we end this conversation in the football game, talk to me about this. Where are the Jets? How do you feel about the Jets right now? I know we talked about it. I had Terry Yake on the show. Tomorrow night we've got Brian Muir talking about the Avalanche. Terry Yake was saying how good St. Louis is going to look. Obviously, I know that Brian Muir is a huge Colorado Avalanche fan. Scott, where do you see us right now, the Jets in training camp?
Jets look tremendous. They look outstanding. They have not played a game in anger yet. That defense hasn't been exposed yet. Connor Hellebuck's got a brand new mask. Looks like he's ready to play. The offense looks tremendous. They're going to score a ton of goals. But will they stop the opposition from scoring? That is the question. That will always be the question. But if this team stays healthy, it could win the Canadian division. That's how much talent it has up front. You've got a line of Scheifele, Connor, Wheeler, and they may fool around with Ehlers and Connor, flipping them between the first and second lines. But your second line is going to be Stastny, Laine, and Ehlers. By the way, Laine's still playing in Winnipeg for those.
I was just going to ask, is he still there?
TSN, who still think he's being traded tomorrow. The third line's better. Andrew Kopp's going to have a breakout year. This team will score goals. This team, the fear of this team is not to score. The fear is, do they stop the other team from scoring? And that's what the big story is going to be for the Jets. If they do, if Hellebuck's is good and this defense steps up and plays better this year than it did last year, the Jets can win the division.
Are you going to watch the blue and white game?
Oh, absolutely.
It's on TSN tonight.
Of course I'm going to, because it's hockey. It's hockey, my friend. I've been watching Big Ten hockey on TV. It's hockey.
You know, it was really funny, guys. All you people, I know we got a couple of my friends from Germany on. I get a note from Scott. Berlin is playing Iserlohn, and he wanted me to give him a tip. And I said 4-2 Iserlohn is going to lose to the Berlin. And I guess they won, didn't they?
Iserlohn won 6-2. But you see, I don't wager on win or lose. I wager on over-under. So you told me to be 6 goals scored. The over-under was 5.5. I took the over on the 5.5. It was 6-2. I won easily. You are a great tipster.
There you go.
You are an outstanding tipster on German
You didn't
hockey.
even know what he was tipping you on.
No, I did. I know Berlin Iserlohn. Ian Wood. You met Ian Wood.
On the
I
goal.
didn't care who won. Like, who cares whether Berlin or Iserlohn wins? I don't care. But I care on how many goals are going to be scored. And Kerry Goulet set it up perfectly. He is an expert of German hockey. Expert of German hockey.
All right, as we wrap up, let's wrap her up. What are you looking forward to this week? Obviously, supposedly we're starting January 13th. Toronto taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Are you excited about that? Are you going to be watching?
Of course. It's hockey. Of course. I'm going to watch every one. I'm not going to miss any. It's hockey.
Did you buy the NHL package?
You don't need an NHL package. The amount of games that are on TV, I've got every Jets game. I got the Leafs and the Canadians. I've got all of the games that Sportsnet picks up. I don't have enough time to watch all the games in the NHL package because I'm going to see the Jets every night. You heard that schedule. They play 14, 18, 19, 21, 23, 24, 26, 30. I won't even have a chance to breathe. There's going to be hockey, 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 hockey. It's not going to.
Well, you're okay because you're not going to those all-you-can-eat buffets at the racehorse.
Bingo. That's right. You got it.
Okay, Scott.
Guys, we'll see you later.
Always good to see you.
There's 2 stakes races. I'm going to wager.
Jesus.
Nice.
See you guys.
Talk with Taylor. Later,
go
buddy.
Jets, go.
All right.
Hey, I wonder
if you watching tonight. I guess there's good football on tonight.
Yeah, a lot of football on today and tomorrow. That game was, man, the Bills hung on to win it. It's they got a good squad. I like them. And there'll be another home game next week because they were the second ranked in the AFC. So it's been a long time. Buffalo fans, they're not going to get anything from the Sabres this year.
You go, no question.
I don't
know. They got a pretty good. I think the Sabres don't look too bad.
They're young. They're solid, but still, we'll see what happens. What do you think about we haven't had a chance to talk for the last few days, because of my dad. And thanks everybody for all the support. My dad's doing a lot better. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. What do you think about Joe Thornton? Actually, when he signed, we thought he was going to be like a 4th line, 5-minute a game type of guy. But it looks like he's starting with Matthews and Marner. What's your thoughts on that, Gouche?
Yeah, they said it a week ago. I thought it sounds good, and I love Joe Thornton. He's gonna. Those are 2 very, very talented players, as is Joe Thornton. But has the ability to keep up? You know what I mean? As I slowed and I play with the younger players, it's difficult. And regardless of what league you play in, it's age is age, right? If your legs aren't moving, like Marner's fast, Matthews fast, Joe is tall and lanky. I like it. I don't know if he can play all 56 games there.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. And hey, what's your thoughts also on the Bruins? Bergeron getting the C obviously was a no-brainer.
Well, he is a leader. as far as I'm concerned, he was always the leader of that team.
Yeah.
He was very boisterous boisterous, wrong word. He showed his leadership by being loud on the ice, meaning he left everything on the ice. Two-way player, one of the best at, the 200-foot game, as they call it. So I think his leadership was already there quietly. You couldn't take it away from Chara anyways, right? So I think it's only natural. And I'm worried that a lot, they're going to start off on a bad foot. And Bruin fans aren't going to like it. And obviously, Char is going to be a big word that comes out of people's mouths. We're going to have James Murphy on here Tuesday talking about those famous Bruins.
Great, and I agree with everything you said. I think the Bruins made a mistake. I think it was a silly thing to do, letting Chara go. But I think Bergeron's going to be the ultimate Bruin captain. He's the ultimate Canadian hockey player. He's won a World Juniors. He's won a Stanley Cup. He's won Olympic gold. He's won pretty well everything you can as an elite hockey player.
And he's a class guy.
Yeah.
He knows what to say, when to say it. And that's sometimes a leader doesn't even have to say anything. As you know, and they're good leaders because of that. Listen, your brother's popping in and saying Jumbo will help the Leafs, but to what extent? I think he's going to help them on the second power play.
Yeah,
if they don't use him on the first power play, but I could see him.
They announced their number one power play unit going into Game 1 against Montreal was Thornton, Marner, Matthews with what's his name, Riley and Simmons on the back end.
It's not a bad power play.
It's not bad. And they got TJ Brody too. It's going to, what the big thing is going to be in Toronto is, can Freddie handle the load? And if he can't, can they put Campbell in there with confidence?
Why wouldn't you?
I think they should. Campbell's
a good goaltender.
He's a hell of a goalie. He's an absolute.
I said to you last year when they were struggling a little bit that they should have used him more, especially in that game.
I agree.
I would have switched him quickly, but you know what? I'm not the coach, and I don't have to live or die. I'm a Jets fan.
Yeah, and you know what? I think if Hellebuyck can play like he did last year, they got as good a chance as any of those six other teams in Canada to win it.
Hey, how about this? Brad Marchand is the captain. Why didn't they give them in the seat? You know what? Somebody mentioned to it when I was talking about this. You know what? He's a guy you hate to watch play if you're on the other team. But you recall in the Canada Cup, or no, what was it called? The World Cup here at the Rogers. I'm trying to remember the game. The Canadian fans absolutely love him.
Yeah.
Right? And yet when he plays for the Bruins against Toronto Maple Leafs, we absolutely hate him.
Well, there's players like that over the years, the Kenny Linsmans, the Brad Marchands, where the guys that where you just absolutely despise them when they come into your town, but if they're on your team, man, they will do anything for you. And that's hockey players. You love him or hate him. He's a hateable player with the Bruins. He's a lovable player with Canada.
Hey, thank you, Val, for I got caught on my names again. I was going to call it Rogers Place for some reason. I don't know why that was coming out, but it's actually the Scotiabank. But it's really, at that time, it was called the Air Canada Centre. Yeah. Holy macalarkey.
But you're only saying Rogers Place because everything we've seen in the last 6 months is hockey. It's been at the Rogers Place.
Good point. And it was Team Europe. I recall that game where we applauded him as he won. And people were just, oh, my God, what a great player. But a week later, they're probably playing Toronto and they're hating him. All right. What do you got? Anything exciting coming up?
Nope. Just taking care of my dad with my sister and watching sports.
Your sister's beautiful. Give her a hug from us. Give a big, big hug to your father. We look forward to hearing more about how well he's coming around, buddy. Look forward to tomorrow where we have Richard Oth on tomorrow at 4:00. We're going to be talking all about his Slapshot channel. Unbelievable. The greatest movie of all times. I think he wants to say the greatest sports movie of all times. And then, of course, tomorrow night we have Brian Muir for a special 7:00. We want to talk about the Colorado Avalanche. Don't miss it.
Okay. Excellent.
Go football.
Good. Go football, or is there any team that you like, or you're just not really a football guy?
I'm a Vikings fan, so I'm out of it.
Yeah, right. I saw it, yeah.
And you know what? I'm actually rooting. Believe it or not, the Bills are okay, but I'm actually rooting for Brady, the Brady bunch.
Tampa.
Yeah, I'd like to see him.
They've got what should be an easy game tomorrow against the Washington Football Club, not the Redskins anymore, but the Washington Football Club. That should be a fairly easy first round. But I think Brady's best days are done. Oh, it's tonight. Sorry, Val, saying that game is tonight. Is that the late game tonight, Val? I think that's the late game tonight.
Yes.
All right, the late game is Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and the Cleveland Browns team that has not practiced all week. They've been decimated by COVID. They don't have a coach. They're missing players. They're Baker Mayfield, their quarterback, has not touched a football in a week.
I'm going to watch the blue and white game anyways. All right. Until tomorrow, you've been watching Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen, brought to you by the good people at the Hockey News and, of course, Sports Illustrated.
And Paramount Sports Management. And because it's Saturday, Game On Magazine. Get out there and get your Game On Magazine from Scott Taylor.
Talking with Taylor. All right. See you tomorrow, Paul. Have a good night. Thanks, Val, for all your name calling.
Let's play some hockey.